Hello, Master Manifester. What is a limiting belief and how does it keep you from having your manifestation? Where do beliefs start? And how do you really change them? We're going to be talking about all that today, and stick around to the end for an original Method Muse manifestation method for changing and shifting your beliefs about yourself, about whether or not you can have your manifestation. So let's get started. So, how is a belief born? Where does the birth of a belief come from? It starts with an experience. Whatever that experience is, your brain starts forming ideas about what it means, starts forming interpretations. It's thinking, it's like, okay, this felt this way. And maybe I burned my hand on the stove, right? And especially emotional, physical, emotional, anything that is going to cause fight or flight, anything that's going to cause an intense emotional reaction, whether that is, perceived as positive or negative, is going to really cement a belief. So beliefs live in your brain, they live in your body, and you really need to adjust both of these things. You need to adjust your whole system when you're changing a belief. Otherwise, you're going to start to see sort of confirmations that your belief was true in the first place, especially if it's deeply like a core belief that you grew up with or something that you heard over and over again, because repetition cements beliefs too. The emotion is definitely the big one that cements a belief, but repetition, thinking something over and over again, or allowing those thoughts, because remember, thoughts are story options for your reality. Keep that in mind. They don't come from you. They're emerging from your system, and they're like, hey, you agree with this? So you need to be paying attention to when they come up and your brain starts stating things as facts, especially really strong opinions about things. So when you first encounter burning your hand on the stove, your brain is going to say, if I touch the stove, it burns. This is accurate. You don't want to be doing that. You do want your system to function the way it functions. But if you get stuck in a belief like, I can't ever find love, I'll never find love, and you've been running that script through your head for a long time, that you just kind of got stuck in this ruminating thought of thinking, well, I failed over and over again. I tried and I tried and I couldn't find what I was looking for. So it just isn't in the cards for me. And when you start thinking that way and you start feeling all that emotion, you're cementing that belief into your unconscious. So what happens next, right? Well, that's the next thing. The next thing is the selective attention filter. And what does that mean? Your selective attention is going to decide that whatever is based on your beliefs, anything that's in my current physical reality, I'm only going to notice things that align with that belief. So this is your reticular activating system, your RAS, talk about it all the time. This is how it automates what's going to get into your attention, right? Because we don't have that much attention to give. Our brains have a finite amount of energy, and that's okay. But if we want to focus on finding love, that's just an example. If you want to manifest love or you want to manifest a relationship of some kind, then you need to get your thoughts in alignment to get your beliefs in alignment, right? Now, your identity also plays into this, because your identity, this is your behavioral predictive script by your brain. It's going to tell you what to do and who you are and how to be around other people, how to live your life, how to do all your habits. And, everything is a habit. Everything is a system. Everything is a routine. And your brain wants the routines. It wants that confirmation, that conclusion that everything is safe and that everything we're doing is keeping us alive. It's always trying to predict what's going to happen next. So when you keep repeating these thoughts, it's saying, okay, this is safety. This is safety. And when you introduce a new belief or you contradict one, you are changing the entire system underneath, and you're going to experience some identity deaths, because those programs, those identity programs, don't go along with your new belief now. Now, this is where the third part comes in. So you've got the birth of the belief, then you have the attention filter, right? Then the third part is if you try to contradict that belief in yourself consciously. So remember, it's very deeply based in your unconscious. You can say it with affirmations, and eventually you'll probably brute force it, maybe, but until you're getting your body to cooperate, getting that gut, heart, brain coherence, getting everything in alignment, until you do that, you're going to keep feeling like, oh, that's not true. Like you'll get that little, critical voice in the back of your head. You'll be like, yeah, I'm going to find love. I'm going to find love like in the next couple of months. I just know I'm going to find like the most coolest relationship that I've ever had in my entire life. And then somebody's like, yeah, really? Because that's not what our experience is. Brain's pulling from your memory and your histories and saying, okay, we've had this belief for a long time and this has worked for us, right? This is working for you. Now, it's not pleasant, but it's keeping your system stable. And that's what your system craves. It craves the safety, the stability, the certainty of predicting what you're going to do next, how you're going to feel next, what the next experience is going to hold, because, it feels safe. So you need to also feel safe with a belief. If somebody told you that aliens were going to be moving into your house next week because, they left their planet and, well, they need someplace to stay. And now the government's mandating that all the aliens have to have a room in everybody's house. You're not going to be okay with that, right? Your whole system is going to reject. First, we haven't really established, are there aliens? Some people are going to be fine with, yeah, sure, of course there are. And, that's fine. I look for evidence, but I also know lots of potential and possibility exist in this universe. There's plenty of room to move around. There's plenty of reality to go around. So I'm not going to say there isn't, but that's one of those kind of beliefs that if you're shocked, if your system is completely shocked, then it actually starts to disintegrate parts of your identity, sometimes huge parts that have been wrapped around in the system. And that's where you get all this resistance, all this tightening. It's like, no, 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 this can't be right. No, this is going to ruin our routine. This is going to ruin our situation. We're going to have to think about everything all over again. Now, that's the homeostasis. The allostasis is what's going to support your system during the change. So these are the systems that are already supporting you. But when you think of it this way, you want to have those safety nets in place whenever you're trying to adjust a belief. And sometimes the easiest thing to do, and now, we're going to talk about thank you for staying to the end. We're going to talk about the original manifestation method, and I call it the pivot pause. Okay. The pivot pause is where when you catch yourself making a very definitive fact statement from your thoughts about your manifestation, like, I never find love, you need to catch that and immediately say, I haven't found it yet. So you can acknowledge that it says, something in the negative, right? That's okay for it to be there. That's fine. But there is lots of evidence that I will. So you pivot, you pause, pivot, you pause, and you will probably have to do this a lot. Like, you want to make it a practice. Like, every time that thought comes up, start looking for evidence. These are all the reasons that I can find love. Look at all these people in the world. Look how many of these programs and patterns could match mine. Look how I could be compatible with other people in the not romantic sense. If you could find like one person, you can be about, if you can't find a person, find an animal. Animals are great for this because they just give you that easy companionship, especially friendly dogs or friendly cats. Go pet a friendly dog, a friendly cat, connect with something or someone and say, look, here is the evidence that I can connect and that I can cohere with someone else's system and state. And that this makes it completely possible for me to have a loving relationship, right? So this could be anything too. So let's apply it to, let's say, what if you want to manifest a car? All right, this is actually an easy one. I did this not long ago for somebody else, but say you want to manifest a car, and in the reality that you're in right now, at least at the moment, the one that you're observing right now, there's no car, right? And your brain is immediately going to go, where's the evidence? You could start looking at car dealerships and be like, oh, these cars could be mine. I could get the money from anywhere. Look at all the places where money come from. It could come from a friend. Somebody might donate a car. Start looking at the possibilities. But the important thing is to pause and pivot that thought. Allow it to be so. It's fine. Yes, the car is not here yet. But there's lots of potential, lots of possibility. And then you get your body involved. Oh, doesn't it feel good to know that it's possible? Doesn't it feel great to know that it is possible for me to have a car that could drive me around wherever I need to go, and that I could put fuel into this car, that such a thing exists, and that I could own one? Do you see how this goes? Do you see how it starts changing the way your thought process go? You're like, oh yeah, this is totally possible. And that helps your system relax and feel safe, Because as soon as you tell your brain you want something, right? You're thinking to yourself, okay, I have this desire. You have sometimes a couple of seconds before your brain is going to look for it in the reality and go, where is it? I don't have it. Only a couple of seconds sometimes. And then it'll start dropping your dopamine levels and you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel like sad because it's reward prediction. It has a reward prediction error, basically. Like it says, oh, we were going to have this reward, but we didn't get it. Oh, so it gets really sad. Your brain gets really sad. It's okay. That's okay. And if you feel that, that's fine. But reinforce it by saying, no, there are more possibilities here. So I hope this has helped you to understand how beliefs form, how they affect your identity, how they cause conflicts in your system and why. Because you want to feel safe, right? And how to overcome those thoughts whenever you decide with an affirmation or whatever method that you're using, visualization, journaling, whatever it is that you want to use that pause and pivot, that pivot and pause, go back and forth and keep doing it. Like every time it comes up or that you notice that it comes up. Sometimes it's going to come up in your underlying system. You're not going to notice it. That's okay. But you want to train your attention to look for potential, for opportunities, because otherwise your attention is going to close off and it's going to say, no, this can't be real. So I hope this has helped you understand. Thank you for sticking around. Please like and subscribe and sign up for our Method News newsletter in the description below and stay tuned for the next video.